So welcome all of you to this session on how to create infotainment for e-learning platforms. And this session is going to be a very practical session, an interactive session. So I would like to start this session with a small poll. We will do a small poll. I'm just going to launch it. I want to encourage all of you to please participate it so that we'll be able to know two details. One is your area of expertise, what you're doing right now. I do understand we do have some trainers here. We do have some other people from the documentary filmmaking and few other things. Now, I hope you're able to see the poll, right? Yes, okay, we have few people clicking it already. Number two is, how much is your comfort level in content development? Content creation, because you know very well that infotainment is all about creating content or developing content. So these are the two questions. So I need more people to participate. 9 of 16 have participated. Okay, great. Request the others as well. So I can see that yes, we do have 3 trainers. We do have 2 salesperson, 2 from HR, 1 from the IT industry. And yes, we do have 1 person who's expert in content development, 2, 3 intermediate, 7 basic, and then we do have someone who, as of now, is a beginner, I would say, in content creation for that matter. All right. So yes, with this, we end our poll, right? Now, that question is, okay, let me just share the results to you. You can also have a look at it. The results, you can just scroll down and see, the level of number of participants, all right? Great, so with that being said, we'll quickly move on to seeing, okay, what is the connection between our profile? Like, we all are experts in different areas, all right? Some of you, as we saw, are into sales, where you are into the number game, where you have to sell, you have your targets. Some of you, in fact, many of you are from HR. And as you can see, HR is a very stylish department. You can see the guys are looking pretty happy in the HR team. And yes, we do have some fantastic trainers, okay, coaches. Okay, some of you I know are coaches. And some of you are perhaps creating content for students. Like, we have experts, we have people in different levels of content creation. So you are creating contents which students are consuming maybe, all right? Some of you perhaps are busy working. You are in a corporate job, your files are increasing and you have a busy schedule perhaps, okay? Some of you are in the education department. We all know the education department is going through a transformation, and students are wondering what to do, right, with the online sessions. So no matter what, whichever the industry you are from, as you can see, there are multiple industries, and even we have people from the medical field. For example, one industry which was not really getting into the digital platform was the medical industry. But in today's scenario, we have tele-prescriptions, we have online Zoom treatments as well, which is happening for the patients online. So no matter what, the conclusion that I want to draw out from this particular slide is that we have to depend on the virtual platform, whoever we are. Whatever the field we may be in, we have to create some content, we have to speak, or we have to share, or we have to record something and display to people. If it is sales, you have to do a product demonstration or a product presentation. If you're a trainer, obviously that becomes your bread and butter. You're always on the screen, because now, due to the social distancing, you do not have manual physical classrooms, right? And obviously, if you're a teacher, in any profession, as I said, even the medical has got transformed now, right? So any profession, no matter what, as I said, all industries, there is a connection with the virtual platform in these days, right? So that actually takes us to our session today, how to create infotainment. The key objective for this session is going to be what is the connection between your profile and virtual platform. So that's what we just discussed. You need to think, in what way are you going to utilize the virtual platform? Are you going to do some live sessions, or are you going to create some videos or some presentations? Sometimes you can even be meme, creators. You can put some meme about your product, or there are so many creative ways. Or do you want to have your own YouTube channel, right? So that's the first thing. In fact, we already discussed that. We'll directly go to the second objective, which is what your audience, or for that matter, your viewers want, your consumers basically, okay? Maybe your target audience. What are they looking for in a content? So that is something we need to actually think about. Let me read. There are a couple of chats here. Yes, okay, great. Okay. Going further, so that will be another important thing to know what our audience want, because accordingly you can create infotainment. Another thing is how to design a content. Or you want to create a content, maybe a video, or you want to create something in animation or an interactive storm package or anything like a game, right? Now, for anything you do, there is a design element. So how do you design a content? We will have some inputs on that. And some of the key infotainment elements, which is number 5, what are some of the important factors we need to remember to include in our content, which will help us actually to create that sort of infotainment. And finally, we will see some practical tools and ideas on how to create infotainment for your e-learning platform, right? So what your viewers want, we'll directly go into it. The research, now the last line is, you're not able to read, so I'll move myself here. So you can see the results of research done by online course providers last year says that most of the people, they're interested in a content which is perhaps as small as or as less as 45 seconds to 4 minutes, majority. Now, of course, there are people who watch videos which are seminars or lectures or speeches. Yes, there is. But then by and large, if you want to push a content, so what do I mean by push? You're trying to get their attention. Okay, you're trying to inspire them to join. So by and large, when you're trying to do something like that, right? So what happens is, 45 seconds to 4 minutes is something that people are happy to view or consume. Okay. Number 2 is they want some facts and figures, something very simple, something very interesting, something unique, new, a data which they have no idea about. Number 3, they want it to be something personal, a real-time incident, a testimony, maybe an evidence, maybe, right? They want it like that. Obviously, it should be practical with some specific steps, point number 4 and 5. Okay, they want it to be having some takeaways. They would like some takeaways from that. And obviously, some interaction should be there. And obviously, the quality of visuals, it should have some colors or graphics or animation, some dynamism, which is, they say, as an attention grabber. That's something people are looking forward to as well. So, so these are some of the factors you may want to think about while designing a content. Now, how do we do it? Let me just show you a small example, a very simple example, where all these elements will actually be included. Okay. So the example is about, basically we move into with this example, we move into infotainment as a design method. With all those points that our viewers want, we are moving into how to design it. So for example, now the message which I want to tell, let's say I'm a doctor or I'm a physician and I want to convey a message about handshake. I'm going to tell people, guys, social distancing, don't do handshake, okay? So now you can see here what else to do without handshake. Oh, you wave, you show namaste, or you salute, or you bow down. There are plenty of options, but I'm going to tell you a unique fact about handshake. Now, some of you may already know. If you know, it's still fine. Now, then you can answer my question actually, right? Please, in your chat, open your chats and tell me, when did the practice of handshake start? Any idea? When did the practice of handshake start? Any thoughts, any idea? I'm waiting. I can wait for 5, 4, 3. Even Mike, you can on your mic and say as well. When strangers meet to show, of course, yeah, okay, sorry, I placed my question wrong. I'm saying which time period? Now, obviously, you shake hands when you meet someone. I'm talking about historically, at which century, which age do you think the practice? Now, the clue is already there in the picture. Obviously, the picture looks pretty old, right? Okay. Okay, somebody Googled it, I guess. Okay. But that's good. Great job, Mr. Arvind. Arvind from Chennai. Yeah. But another good attempt is Roman time. Okay. But actually, it is the Greeks. Okay. The Greeks in the 5th century started the handshake. Now, another important element is why. Why did they start this practice of handshake? This is to communicate peace, and this is to tell them, I don't have any weapons in my hands. Okay, I don't have a spear, I don't have a bow and arrow, or I don't have a knife or a dagger to kill you. So you can happily shake your hands with me. That's how it started. Now, and obviously till this coronavirus, we were happily doing this, but now we are not doing it. Why we are not doing it? The reason we are not doing it now is because we do have a weapon in our hands now. Now that weapon can kill someone, right? So which is the virus. And that is why we do not shake hands, because every hand can have some germs, whether it's mine or yours. That is what, I'm not saying this, WHO says this, right? So that is why we are trying to suggest or encourage our participants or the people who are watching this video not to do the handshake, figure out some alternative like one of these styles, right? So now this is one small example. Now, how do I actually fulfill the requirement of what the viewer wants? If you notice, the entire discussion or whatever I had did not last more than 2.5 to 3 minutes. And I had some facts and figures. In fact, you also gave me some facts and figures with which I fulfilled the point number 6, which is the interaction. And in facts and figures, we spoke about 5th century. Perhaps for some people it was new. And we said it is Greek. You know, some of you did a research on Romans, right? And then it was personal. You know, personal means I was showing you my hand. I was saying, you know, we do handshakes when we meet. So something which we all do. So it is practical. It is something real, right? And we spoke about some specific steps. So what do I mean by specific steps? We said you can salute, you can do namaste, you can bow down, right? And you can do other things as well. And I did have some visuals. Now, perhaps it may not be great, but this message does not really require an amazing 3D graphics or an amazing, because you need to understand your content is important. The medium is also important, but the medium should be selected in such a way that it matches your content and a little bit amplifies your content or multiplies your content. So in that way, I felt these 2 simple images are perhaps, okay. Perhaps okay, and that's why we did this as well. Okay, now, so this is about one. Now let me give you another example. Okay, now this example is from our own green LMS. You might have noticed that in Greenfield Solutions, we have our own LMS. So I'm going to show you our own, LMS. This is our LMS website, okay? And let's say, I'm going to just show you our video, okay? So you log into our website. If you log in, obviously you go to the page where you log in, and then you select a course, okay? Then there's something called interactive video. And in the interactive video, people are watching these visuals. And as you can see, there are so many creatives behind the speaker. There is a speaker, but as the speaker is sharing, there are a lot of creative visuals behind. And as the speaker is doing the same thing, at one point of time, Yes, you can see there is a question which comes and the audience has to respond to it. And then they continue again with the video too. All right. So now what does this depict? This again depicts the same concept which we discussed. We discussed about how it should be colorful, engaging. It's a short video, but yet it is interactive because the person who is watching this video is going to make sure that he learns what is there in that video by answering that question, as you can see it here. Right? Okay. The video goes like that. And the question comes, right, with all the visuals. And the person answers the question, right? And this is how he answers, and the video moves on as well. So you can see this is another important example of having an engaging content through which information is passed, at the same time entertainment is also there. Okay, so that actually takes us back. Let me just recap on the objectives of our session. Okay, so we had the what viewers want. We finished infotainment as a design method. Okay, how you can create some design method. But then the point is, how do you create the content? So how to design a content? Okay, do we have anyone saying something? Okay, right. Okay, great. So we'll get back to our session. Right. So the question is, how do you design a content? Okay. So when you design a content, now the person who's already an expert in content creation knows there are various models available, right? And one of the popular model is called the ADDIE principle. It may sound a little technical, but I'll tell you what it is before creating a content, we need to do some analysis, which can be the audience analysis, or which can be, what is the nature of the subject, and what proficiency level should the subject be managed? Should it be for basic level or intermediate level or expert level? And then we need to develop the content, obviously, whether you need videos or whether you need some PowerPoint slides, so on and so forth. And of course, the implementation, execution. If it's a live session like this, you need to go live. If it is recorded, you need to record and post it. And those days, we used to have even classroom sessions, we executed. And finally, evaluation, right? So you take feedback, obviously, from the participants or the consumers. Also take feedback from even others, other experts in the same industry, stakeholders. The stakeholders who perhaps nominated the employees to you. So you can actually make sure that you nominate, you take feedback from them. But then in today's scenario, we have so many formats of pulling reports and analytics. In fact, in Green LMS, RLMS, we have fantastic ways of evaluating your content and evaluating the learner's users' experience through that content as well. Okay, so now in this short video, obviously, it may not be possible for me to explain fully about ADDIE principle, but we do have our own virtual content development certification program. We will let you know. Whoever wants to become a virtual content creator, a content creator for the digital platform, you're most welcome to join us for that course as well. So we will let you know when that happens. But today, I'm just going to focus on simple steps, okay, not complicated. I'm going to just focus on very, very simple steps. First, choose your plot. What is your plot? What is your subject? For example, just to name the example of my own sample that I showed, the example was about social distancing and about handshake. That was a plot, and coronavirus is in the background of the plot of the subject. And who's my audience? Actually, everybody. Everybody was my audience, which means general public, because even a little kid knows that the kid should shake hands, right? Because that's something the parents teach when a little kid goes to the school. They say, hey, shake hands with your friends, shake hands with your teacher. So the whole world was my audience for that particular topic. And what is the title? Now, of course, I had to keep a title for you. So I had made it a title as the design structure method or something. But if I'm going to go public, I will keep something like movers and shakers, or hello, how are you, with a picture where I'm shaking hands or something. So something, the title or the theme should be attractive. So you need to select that first. What will be a catchy title? What will be a catchy theme for that session? Then how you start it. So if you notice, I started with a comedy image. I said we do namaste, we do salute. So you need to think, how will you start? Will you have a small joke, or you'll have a video, or you'll have an image? What will you do? Okay. And obviously the content, the body. So in my part, the content was about the 5th century, about Greece, about how they had weapons and all that. That was my actual core subject. And then I concluded saying that, of course, what were the highlights and punches? The highlights and punches were the interactions we were having. And then I'm revealing it was, they had spears, they had daggers, and when they don't have it, they shake hands. And now we are virus, which is the deadly weapons. And so those are some of the highlights and punches, according to me. Of course, you might have felt something else, or whatever is relevant for you. And finally, we go into the closing and the next step. So I concluded saying that henceforth, what is the next step? Please do namaste, or please do salute, or please wave your hands, or bow down, whatever. Those are the practical steps I'm trying to suggest to people when they see the content. So this is a small example of how you design. So you have to obviously think for some time before creating it. You need to really think, you need to invest time. Of course, obviously we can borrow a lot of free content which is available on the internet, but then they may have already seen it. Your audience wants something original, something new. It can even be of little lower quality, but as long as it is new and as long as it is original and unique, that's something audience always appreciate. So that is my thought about how to design a content. But as I said, being a certified instructional designer will actually help you. And many people think that it is only for trainers. Please understand, it's not just for trainers, because today, if you have a smartphone, you are a journalist. If you are a smartphone, you are a filmmaker. If you are a smartphone, you are an influencer. So you have to create content. So a little bit of structure like this ADDIE principle or many other models can help you. We are willing to support you from Green LMS. Anytime contact us, we can really help you to be a dynamic content developer as well. So then now we're going to see some infotainment elements, because if you remember in our objective, after how to design a content, we will move on to our infotainment elements, right? So what are some infotainment elements? People want to hear some simple story. It should be in a story format. Even though you may be talking about a very high funded topic, like about a software, you're talking about a very technical mechanical product, they would want you to convert it into a real-time story about how that particular automobile, let's say if it is a car, people are happy to see a family which is sitting in the car and moving in the desert and enjoying the landscape. And in the corner, you can see the horsepower details. In the corner, you can see the mileage details. In the corner, you can see about the gadgets and other accessories that the automobiles have. So what do you see here? Now, the information is also there, but it's a simple story of a family, of a husband and wife with the 3 children moving into Jebel Shams or into some desert, and they're really enjoying the landscape. People, that's an infotainment element. So you have to think about what is the infotainment story element that you will bring in. Okay, because for each topic, the stories will change, obviously. And you being a subject expert, a subject matter expert of your field, you will have a better idea of how you can create a story out of your product or out of what you want to communicate to people. And number two is humor. Obviously, sometimes we think it is very difficult to have humor, obviously. So you don't have to worry. You don't have to be a stand-up comedian, or you don't have to put the pressure to research a lot of jokes and make it humorous. But even a little bit, for example, when I showed that small graphic of this particular image, okay, this particular image, I'm actually attempting a small humor, because in this content, this humor is enough for me. As if someone is, like especially the hip bump is humor for me, right? Okay, you can even do hip bump without handshake, right? So bottom line, what I'm trying to say is, don't put so much of pressure in you, because we all know that any content you see in YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, when it has got something funny, it becomes viral. Okay, TikTok, okay, of course it's banned in India, but elsewhere in the world, and now there are so many other providers apart from TikTok. So that humor element always works, but on the hindsight, don't put so much of pressure on you to do that, even subtle, even something simple, but it has to be related to the content. If you notice in our handshake example, it is completely matching to the content. And that's how we do it. You don't have to pick up a joke which has no relativity or no relatability to your subject, then that will not be good as well. Okay, yeah, good. So that's number two. Number three, it should be obviously colorful and dynamic. Okay, if you notice in this particular slide, I used that. Okay, all right, in the slide over here, I tried to make it as colorful as possible. I said some of you are from variety of industries, and then I said some of you are from sales, okay, who are into numbers and graphs. So you could see here, I'm attempting to make this presentation a little bit colorful and lively, not just me talking, okay, in a monotonous way. All right. So that's how you can make it colorful and dynamic. Now, I'm trying to do this in the live session, which is actually even more challenging, right? It is not easy to do it in live session. We will talk about it in the last point, practical tools and idea. But in recorded version, yes, you can, because you can do a lot in the editing table, and you can work a lot and make it colorful and dynamic. Number four, it should be relatable. Okay, so ensure that you have something which can connect with the audience, whoever you intend to be the consumers of your product. Okay, there should be something they, we all know especially the trainers, we know the WIIFM principle. What is in it for me, right? So if I interned a particular category of audience to watch my content, then what is in it for them? Okay, what am I giving to them, which should be relatable? So that is another important element as well. In fact, in the previous itself, I had mentioned people want testimonies or evidences. They want something real time, something tangible, something measurable and touchable. So that's another important thing. And some new information, right? Now, obviously, just like when I asked the question, within a jiffy, we know that few of us could quickly, click the smartphone and find the answer. So in these days, right, the new information is easy for people to find because information is proliferated. However, to create a attention-grabbing opportunity, suddenly saying a data or suddenly revealing a fact can actually create some interest in them. So try to see, again, I'm telling you, don't put so much of pressure, because if you remember when I said about the 5th century, when I said about the weapons, I already had a disclaimer before that, saying that some of you may already know. Okay, some of you may have already seen this picture. Some of you may already be aware. So I already put the disclaimer so that I'm not claiming that I am the only guy who knows this. No, because in today's world, even a scientist who's doing nanotechnology, and he may be doing the research right now, but still his research paper could be leaked or hacked, and people will still know what he is doing. So nobody can claim that only I know this, right? However, try to have some new information added on into your session as well. And finally, always give some practical takeaways, right? Now, obviously, if your product or your service or the theme or the subject that you're talking doesn't require, it just requires for them to get convicted or inspired and happy and just leave, then that's a different story. But if there is some call to action that you are expecting the viewer to do something after that, then that should be spelled out very, very clearly in the presentation. So this is something we need to really look into when we are doing the same thing. Okay, so in the end of it all, how should the design structure be? Okay, so I mentioned all these different elements, all these different aspects I mentioned. So the technique or the method that we use should be a combination of various elements. Okay, it is like you're creating a food, or you're creating a recipe, right? You're creating something, and of course the trainers are already aware of the blended learning methodology, and today the latest terminology is hybrid. Okay, we are having a hybrid education system or a hybrid learning system, correct? So just try to see, all these points that we discussed, okay, the infotainment elements has to be blended in the right format. And when it is having a right mix of some game, right mix of some interactions, some humor, and some facts and figures, some practical testimonies, and a call to action, okay, it will really, really be very, very useful to everybody, right? Okay, so with that being said, now, okay, we have covered most of our points to the infotainment elements. And now for the most interesting point we will come to is the practical tools and ideas. Now, yes, I understand it is important to create content. I understand information, then entertainment, all right. Okay, that is great, very good. Information entertainment is very good. But then how do I combine it? How do I do it? Okay, we want to execute it, right? Okay, now I think you perhaps were a little bit bored seeing me all the time. So I'm going to get you another person do this session, okay? Now this person is a perfectly COVID example. And he's telling you the authoring tools are there, number one. Of course, there are paid versions of tools like Articulate 360 or iSpring, is there, and some free available as well. You can easily Google and check it in YouTube. Now, LMS should be dynamic. Now, in our Green LMS, which you can see our logo here, okay, Green LMS, we have a very beautiful platform in which you can even create. Now, what is authoring tool? Authoring tool is nothing but you are making sure that you are able to create a content using the LMS platform. So there are some LMS platforms in which you can just upload the course and enroll users, and the users can use it, and you can take some reports, but it does not have its own inbuilt authoring tool. But Green LMS, we do have it. Now, we want to show you a demo. Just please join us, contact us. We can definitely support you by knowing how you can create interesting courses using our Green LMS. Okay, and also if you notice all my previous slides, for example, let us go to this particular slide which I used. Okay, so I'm just using some stock GIF images. All right, now some of these stock images are free and some of them may not be free. You may have to buy it. All right, okay, so I use these, all right, sometimes to make it inspiring, all right, or make it colorful. Okay, that's another thing you can try to do it as well. And those things are possible in Green LMS platform. And again, we are the host of this program, so at some point of time I have to sell myself. So please, contact us, and we can guide you to know more about our LMS as well. And then for live, okay, now this is the important point. Did anybody think anything was different in this live webinar? Anybody think anything was different in this live webinar?
Yeah, as you are talking, it is not like normal Zoom video conferencing. Now I'm speaking, I'm above the window. Now your slide is there, and as you are speaking, your video is continuously streaming, and you are able to change the background very frequently. I mean, I was
Yes,
wondering from the beginning, I was wondering probably you want to do it as a live demo to us that this is exactly is the, content creation.
exactly. Beautiful. Okay, let's give a big hand to Madam Meenakshi. Thank you for sharing. Of course, did anybody else notice that? You can say yes or put a thumbs up in the chat, or you can even speak, no problem. Open your mics. And anybody else noticed something different in the session today?
Yes,
Yeah.
madam. The presentation was a combination of formal materials and also personal contact, which is fantastic. Since that we are dealing person to person, alive, but presently.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Great. Thank you so much, Pepe. Thank you so much. And I also heard a few thoughts about the polls. And then I heard another thing about, the physical presence being available in the chat. Thank you, Ravi, and thank you, Ramesh, and thank you, Pepe, as well as Madam Meenakshi as well, for sharing this point. Now, how did I do it? I would like to tell you, there are many open source service providers, but I'm using something called OBS. Okay, OBS is Open Broadcaster software. Okay, so there are plenty of YouTube channels, tutorials, which is available. There are plenty of videos, you can use, and it is free. That's another important thing. But only thing is the next point. The next point is crucial. That is, you need to, and I'm going to show you a demo, like what Meenakshi said. I remember that point. I will share my screen and I will show you how it happened. I'm going to do that. We will show the demo. Okay. However, the challenge for me, as well as for all of us, is the next point, that is investing time in doing this. See, in today's world, information, as I said, is already proliferated, and there is enough DIY videos. That is, the do-it-yourself videos are available everywhere, right? And people are willing to give free content to help people learn. But the consumers, that is we, are we willing to invest time in creating this content? Now, for example, in order for me to create this entire program as a scene, as a very dynamic presentation, I had to spend at least 6 to 7 hours in preparing this. Why? Because, see, the medium or showing the image or the graphic or the slide is the execution part, but conceiving it, creating the storyboard or creating the design, that is where I want to encourage you to become a content developer or a content creator and go through the virtual content creator certification program, or go through any instructional designer certification program, but specialized in the virtual platform area. You have to invest time in that. Okay, only then we'll be able to first create the rough script, the rough design, and then you have to get into the execution, which I will share with you. Of course, a lot of researches has to be done, a lot of work. So investing time in content creation is crucial. Okay, so that is very, very important, and we can support, as I've already been telling you, we can certainly help you with that as well. Okay, so now since we wanted to know how to do this, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, I request Abhishek to kindly make me the host again. Abhishek Sharma is our Zoom administrator today. All right, so yes, I think I'm the host now. Okay, so now I'm going to share the screen with you. Okay, are you able to see the screen? Somebody say yes, no, thank you. Okay, let me open the chat. Are you able to see the screen? Yes, all right. Ravi has said, thank you, Ravi. Thank you, Srinivasan. Thank you, Ahmad, Shaukat, Oh, even Arvind says yes, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Okay. So now you can see this is how the OBS panel looks. Now, how many of you have an experience already with using OBS? Again, in the chat, or you can even unmute yourself and say, how many of you, anybody? Okay, I have a chat again. Okay, none, all right. None, no experience. Shaukat, thanks, Jimo. All right, okay, no experience. Okay, fantastic. Thank you for responding that. Not much from Ravi, okay. So perhaps he tried a bit, okay. So now if you notice here, this is my screen and this is the panel. Now there are two things you can see here. One is scenes, another is source, okay. Now let me go to my main scene. This is my main scene. Some of you who joined late might have not seen this main scene because you came late, so you missed it. All right. So now I can, change the, palette like this because I have added some sources here. Now this is my video camera. I've added my video here with this plus sign. You can see the plus. Then I've added an image. This is a PNG image which has a transparency in between, so I can pop out over here. Two images I've added so that I can play with these two images so that there will be some small, excitement around it. Okay. So then I can change. This is another scene I created. Now, all these things I've already created. If you notice, I have created around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Almost 11 scenes I have created for a presentation which is going to last 45 to 50 minutes. Okay. And each scene, okay, has different sources in it. Okay. So you have to create a scene. Okay, like for example, I'll show you how you create a scene. So you have to create a scene saying, okay, let's say I create a scene called thank you or no need thank you. I will say all the best. Okay, this is my scene which I'm creating called all the best. And I give okay. So now you can see I'm gone. Okay, I'm gone. Why? Because this scene is empty here. The source is empty, correct? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add. So I can add many things here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a text. Okay. So it will say text. I'm going to name it as all the best text. Okay. And okay. So it's already in use. So I will change it all the best one. All right. So I open this text. Okay. And I'm going to type the content here. Okay. All the best. Right. So you can see, I am here all the best. Now I don't want the scene to be empty. So I'm going to add myself. So how will I add? Video capture device. Okay. And I already have an existing video capture. This is my camera. All right. And I click here, I come, but I want to be behind the text. So I'm going to move the text in front of me. And then you can see I am there and I'm telling you all the best to use such, softwares or anything else for that matter as well. So this is a small example. So now, but then the point is I had to do all these things beforehand because when I create this program and when I want to conduct and deliver this webinar, okay, I shouldn't get stuck anywhere. Right. So I've already decided the flow. I already decided what I want to do. I created a PowerPoint presentation first because that is my way of writing a story, right? So everybody, some of them will write in a notepad or a notebook, but the way I create a story is by having a PowerPoint presentation. And then I do that. And after that, I take, each of these slides and create this the way you are seeing right now, right? So how did you find it? Any thoughts? You can put it in the chat. The question is, will you try? That's the whole thing, right? Will you try this is the whole point, because we all get to hear so many things, but then we don't make the attempt because, we think, I'm too old for this. And of course, look who is talking, okay? I'm not young either, right? But then we can actually make an attempt and create this. You need to be committed. Now, as a LMS service provider, as a content creator, as a trainer, we do have our own certified virtual content creator program, so you can become a certified virtual platform content creator as well. And you will be able to create Roberts. Now, this one, what you're seeing is a live session, but you can actually create the same thing in your own videos, whatever, with 2D, 3D animation. We can support you. Our LMS supports you with all those things as well. So with that being said, okay, I want to thank all of you for participating in our session. Now, don't think it is over yet, because we're going to give 15 minutes for some question and answer sessions. All right, so that I can take some question and answer from you. And if I'm able to show something which is simpler and easier in this short duration, I can show that to you. And if I don't know anything, I'll tell you I don't know how to do it. And whatever I know, I will tell you what I know, and I can share with you within this limited time, right? Okay, great. So yes, let's go ahead now. I open it up for question and answer session. And thank you, John. Thank you so much for acknowledging. Thank you, Ahmad Al-Fajri as well. But please don't go. Be there for this question answer, because whatever question someone asks may be actually useful for you as well. It may clarify your answer as well. Okay, thank you, Mr. Ravi. Gratitude again, appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, Madam Meenakshi, please.
See, I'm a teacher, and in fact, I was using this mind mapping technology for teaching my stuff, teaching lessons to students. I was wondering if I can use it like an interactive tool, and right away, I just bumped into the session. Thanks, Madhan, for sharing this. And it was such a great learning experience for me. You mentioned that you will be having a certified course. You will be providing a certified course in content creation or creating an e-learning tool for ourselves. Is there any service that your company is providing for schools?
Yes, we will be informing that. As I mentioned, mostly in the month of May or June, we will have a couple of batches. We will certainly, now we have all your information with us, and right now I request, let me make Mr. Abhishek as a host again. And Mr. Abhishek, can you please paste the form? Abhishek will paste a small form where you have to just fill in some of your details. Four questions is there in the form. Fill in your details, and you will be able to, we will contact you. We will get back to you, and we will let you know about that course as well. But now, since Madam Meenakshi brought this interesting topic about school and teachers, now look at this one important tool, okay, which is there in this. For example, I have, okay, all right. So there is a option called screenwriting option, which will be very, very useful for the school children, all right? So what you can do is, if you're teaching maths or something, you can actually write on top of your screen as well. Okay, so you can see here, I said 1 + 2 = 3, right? So were you able to see that?
Yep.
It's a very difficult mathematical sum, actually. And that's my level of maths, as you can understand. Right, okay.
But we do have this whiteboard option in all the meets, right? We do have it in Google Meet, we do have it in Zoom.
Are you able to write? Are you able to write it on your camera?
Not on the camera.
Yes, so that is the whole thing here. The highlight over here is it's, see, because here I can simply point out. I can say, oh wait, where am I? I can say this is 3, this is 2, this is 1. So you can see here my finger is behind the number. So now for kids this is going to be great, right? Of course, you can use something called. Let me show you this. I'm not using it now. But there is a Wacom, letter pad. You can use something like this. Now, I'm not advertising them, or not, they're not paying me anything. But to improve the handwriting, or else it will be so lousy like this. Okay, so you can improve your handwriting by using that pen as well, and that can help you, in creating, that wow experience. So you can use this in OBS. So that will also be a very useful tool. And now Let me rub this whole thing.
Can you type it in the chat box, Madhan sir? What is the name of that screen? White screen board or whiteboard screen?
No,
What
this is not about the screen. This is about OBS. You can
in
use
OBS
anything.
that option?
Yeah, you can, exactly. You can use, you know, for example, I'm just using the normal paint shop. What I showed you now is a normal paint shop. And only in the paint shop, I actually did the whole writing. So you can use Microsoft Whiteboard. You can use Google Jamboard. Anything you can use. Okay. Now, how to do it? Please join the virtual, certified instructional designer course. Now I'm advertising. Huh? Okay. Now I'm advertising for that. When it is there, you join and we will certainly let you know. But this particular concept is not about the board. It is about OBS. OBS permits you to do that. All right. Mr. Ravi, you wanted some names. Can you tell me what names? A name, what is the name of that? You mean OBS, you mean to say? Or Mr. Ravi and Mr. Arvind, you wanted to know some names.
No, you were telling some Microsoft this thing and what you're using.
Okay. Yeah. Microsoft, okay. Yeah, whiteboard. Okay, I'm just typing it for you. It is Microsoft Whiteboard. Oh, I just sent it to Ramesh alone, sorry. Let me send it to everybody. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so it is Microsoft Whiteboard. Then anything like, for example, there is even Google Jamboard is there. Okay, Jamboard or our typical old MS Paint, right? We all are comfortable with MS Paint, no? We've been using it for ages. You can use MS Paint as well. Not a problem, but I want to encourage all of you to please fill the form because it's nice that you all are here. We don't want to lose the network. We don't want to lose your connection. So please take some time to fill that form. I request Abhishek to post the form again because sometimes the chat will, keep scrolling up and down. Yeah, thank you, Abhishek, for posting that. And another important thing is this entire thing was administrated by me only. In the sense, it's not like I'm having a Zoom master or someone do it. The entire thing is in my control, which is good at the same time, which is difficult also. The reason it is difficult is I need to be that organized and I need to be more cool in my head to ensure that, I use all these multiple scenes and, move it in a cohesive way. And you need to learn how to create that as well. Okay, thank you, Ravi, for filling the form. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much for doing that. Okay, we do have some more time. We have 7 more minutes. And now, just a small question. Can somebody tell me why I finished the session in 45 minutes? Small question. Why I finished the session in 45 minutes?
I think because it's more efficient and
yes,
more effective.
Right. So you see this slide
the
here.
Animation and all the tools.
Yeah. So people want the duration, 45 seconds to 4 minutes. This one is for the video programs. But there is a research which talks about the live sessions. People obviously don't want it to be more than 40 minutes or 45 minutes. That's why in the past, for example, our classes, which we do even in a manual environment, it will be for 40 minutes or maximum 45 minutes, right? But then since we have a lot of professionals, we want to have question and answer sessions. So that's why we are keeping it for 1 hour. Many people are okay with 1 hour, all right? But that is the end of it. So don't try to drag any live sessions for more than 1 hour unless and until it is a focused course. Like for example, our certified instructional designer content developer course will be for more than 1 hour. Okay, we may have 2-3 sessions or 4 hours each, but that is you're dedicating time, you're committing yourself to become that, to get certified. So in that way, it will require some time extra, and you're prepared for that. But now you all just joined me, not knowing what it is. Yes, good, Ravi. Thank you for that. Thanks, Mr. Jacob, for saying yes. Attention span is limited. Low attention span. Sorry, I just saw your chat. Okay, great, absolutely. So that's why we did it in 45 minutes. Okay. Any other thoughts, please? Thanks, Mr. Arvind, for filling the form. Really appreciate that.
So creating this e-learning tool has become the order of the day because the times are changing. We need to get acquainted to this virtual learning platforms. Plus, even when I underwent one internship program in organization psychology, they were insisting this ADDI model of using this ADDI model to create this e-learning tool. I also got grab of some idea, but learning is all about providing people the stuff in chunks. We call it as chunk learning method. So people don't like to read pages and pages of documents and touching and reading. That has now that those times are going away. Now to cater to the needs of the people whose attention span, I'm rightly pointing it out because attention span is really very less, and the screen time, the way it is transferring, or what to say, the way it is changing. So we need to cater to those needs, and we have to provide it really very interactive.
Absolutely, absolutely. See, these are some of, Madam Meenakshi, thanks for pointing this out. See, these are the highlights of our LMS. We have followed the same point what you're sharing. We are promoting lifestyle learning. So what is lifestyle learning is basically people can learn on the move, on the go, while they're walking, while they're waiting for the bus, or while they're waiting for someone to pick them up. In our LMS, we are providing a platform which can create lifestyle learning. And your point about chunks, in our platform, we call it as bite-sized learning. The famous saying, how do you eat an elephant? You eat an elephant bit by bit, or if you want to bite it, you can bite it. Now, I'm not talking about the BITE, but I'm talking about the BYT, right? Where the bites, the megabytes are small. So it can be a 1-minute session, 2-minute session, right? We can create, and you can see all the other features we have. Okay, we have, and of course, you may be, again, a little bit bored up listening to me. So I'm going to go away and I'm going to get my friend to share this for you. Okay, let me, get my friend, share this for you. Right, okay. So just a moment. Right, okay. So you can see I've added a person who's going to share this about 3 clicks. We have a feature called 3 clicks content creation, easy authoring tools where you can create programs, which I already mentioned. And at times, as Meenakshi said, it is difficult to handle the users, the kids, their attention span and all. So we have various user management, methods also in our LMS, beautiful reports and analytics to see how the progress is happening, and all the other points as well is there. And we have various activities and multiple live session platforms like this. OBS can be integrated, Zoom can be integrated, MS Teams, Google Classroom, everything can be integrated in our LMS. Okay. Now I'm certainly selling, all right. I'm selling green LMS to you. If you know anybody or your organization or even your school or college requires any learning management system, then we are there for you from Greenfield Solution. Okay, 2 minutes. Any other questions, any thoughts, please? Switch on your audio, video, or even your, okay. So let me come back to you now. Okay, so, right, all right. So thank you so much. So please keep in touch with us, and we will certainly be in touch with all of you, especially the ones who have filled the form. And apart from that, just keep following us in the Zoom platform. I'm just using the scene which I created just now. Okay, so please keep using our 1 minute. Let me just change the color of the text. Okay. So, yes. All right. So all the best to all of you. Okay.
Thank you, Madhan. Thank you, Madhan, for a lovely session. Lovely session.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Very good.
Is that Ravi? Is that Ravi?
Yeah, Ravi. Yeah, Ravi. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Tom. Thank you so much, Mr. Ravi. And I can see many others. Sirajan, thank you so much. Okay, yes, we will send a proposal. Siraj is at Gulf Advantage Auto. Yes, we will do that. And anybody else require any support from us, we are always there. All the very best. We will stay in touch and join us for all our future projects as well. All the best. Thank you so much.